So are there some additional questions at this point?
Once it's wilderness, we lose no matter what.
Yeah.
There's no turning
Well,
back.
I'm sure he's even taken off there.
Okay.
He actually is dovetailing with someone else's question. This is from Jane Feldman. And pivoting off of his questions, the question is, what are the benefits or what does wilderness give to the local community? And this is a comment which came in from Jane Feldman on it as well. Similarly, we have a question from Judy Metz, which is, if the purple area in the wilderness area for Lake Mead, does that mean boats cannot dock on shore, picnic with families, etc.?
The latter, no, it does not mean you cannot do those things. You have to create a process to ensure that those activities which we have now are preserved, and that there's a process that if they are recommended to be changed in the future, that you have a say in how they would change.
And Bryant Robinson wanted to share a comment which was, why do we need any additional wilderness area? I don't think so. There was another technical question which came out from the group, which was, how will who serves on the local boards be determined? And it's a technical one, so I highlighted it for you because it breaks down for the various parts, and then for each little town and for each county and how it works for it.
So the appointments to the advisory councils, the 4 members will be appointed from recommendations from the from Mesquite City Council, 1 member appointed from the Bunkerville Town Board, 1 from the Moapa Valley Town Board, 1 from the Moapa Nevada Town Board, and 1 from the Moapa Band of Paiute Tribal Council, and 5 at-large members appointed from recommendation from the County Commission. So, you know, that. So what I want to do at this time, I'm going to take this gentleman's question. This will be the last question, and then anyone who wants to come up, look at the map, talk to us one-on-one. We'll be here to take additional questions, but we committed that we would keep this to an hour, so I want to take your question and then we'll proceed.
You're talking about the council and the recommendations, but what power, what fight do they have? Because I'm not trying to dog the government, but the government can come up with any number of reasons to do anything that they want. We've seen that in the past. But without some power, this council uses.
So are they just advisory? That's the question.
Well, look, does it have the power to enact law? No, it's not an elected body. But it has the power to give local perspective on issues that only local community people know about. You know, right now we're relying on people who may not be here, who may not have a perspective, who may not know the history to make decisions about land use in our area. So no, it doesn't have the enforcement of law, but it has the ability to formalize the voice of local government or local communities in a way that is meaningful. And agencies have to follow the federal law. And if we say create the council and listen to their recommendations, and then they do the very opposite of what the community is saying, then you can follow up and address that with those agencies. And this is, again, an area where I need your help. Okay, we've got great people who are here from the BLM, and you know, I've met with the Park Service and the wildlife folks, and I really feel there are a lot of committed people. But unfortunately, the process is very cumbersome. There are a lot of federal law and federal rules that they're required to implement, and many of them are just trying to do their job. Unfortunately, sometimes doing their job doesn't take into account our local perspective enough. And I've heard it from every corner of this district, from Ely to Yerington to Tonopah to here. And I need your help to come up with a process where we can show the model for how this works. Now, there's been a couple of hearings that we've had in our Natural Resources Committee, and they've brought communities in from across the country. New Mexico is the one I'm thinking of right now.
Can you bring us into one of those?
So I'm going here. This is what
Okay.
what I'm explaining. But we have to prove that
We'll
we.
be back in Washington in front of that
Let me
resource.
finish my point, Mr. Daly. Let me
I
finish my
will.
point. So the point I'm making is communities that have figured out how to have this local input with local, state, and federal agencies around land use, that is the model that we're all trying to figure out how to make that work right.
We have done that. We have.
Okay?
I'll talk to you about it, but I do not want to let that just slip by
But
as
without-
if it hasn't happened.
I didn't say it didn't happen.
Okay, I know, but
That's-
you're talking as if it hasn't
I
happened,
didn't,
and it has.
I'm just relaying
I apologize.
I'm
Go
just
ahead.
saying what happened in New Mexico and the fact that they were invited by the majority party to come in and talk about what they were able to do in their local community in New Mexico around land use. And that's what I want to create, working with you and those who've done it, is to find those models for where that has worked effectively and to use those to replicate that model in other areas. It hasn't happened in every part. Okay, it might be happening here, but it's not happening in Ely. It's not happening in Yerington. And so that's what we're trying to figure out, and that's where I need your help. And this is an opportunity for us to do that. And for those of you who, Mr. Daly, thank you, who want to help me figure out how to do that, I'm inviting you and asking you to help us figure out how to bring those models forward. And this is an opportunity for us to figure that out. And again, it's a starting point. It's not the end. This bill is not scheduled at any time for a vote. Between now and the end of the summer, me and my staff will be in various community meetings to get the input that we got here today and to figure out how to make this legislation the best it can be. So I'm going to close the meeting out. Again, if you have additional questions, please come up and talk to me. We want to review some more issues on the map. And I want to say thank you for coming out on your Saturday morning. I'm very honored to be representing you, and I look forward to working with you in the months and years to come.